everybody. So today we are going to be exploring our hundredths chart. So right in front of me, I have a hundredths chart with the number starting at 1 and ending by 100. So this lesson is going to be about investigating the hundredths chart, and through it we're going to try and identify some patterns that we see. So let's begin with the first column. So if we see up here, we have the number 1. And then as we go down, we see that the numbers are changing. But what's changing in them is their tens place, right? So at the number 1, we don't have a tens place because it's a single digit number. But as we go down to the number 11, we see that the tens place changed, and now we have a 1 in the tens place. And as we go down, we have the number 21. And we see that over here, the tens place changed again to a 2. So that means that as we go down the columns of a hundredths chart, the numbers increase by 10. Now let's look at the number 1 and let's go across the hundredths chart. We see that the tens place doesn't change, but instead the ones place changes. So here we go from the number 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and so on. Now let's start at the second column. So we have the number 11. And now, if we look at the number 12, we see that the ones place changed, and instead of there being a 1 in the ones place, we have a 2. So that means that as we go across the hundredths chart, our numbers increase by 1. So let's try and find different types of patterns. So I am going to pick a random number on our hundredths chart. So let's say I pick the number 36. Now, if I were to tell you to look on the hundredths chart and to help me find the number that is 10 less than 36, what would I have to do? Right, I would have to go up the numbers chart, and 10 less than 36 is 26, right? So since our numbers going up and down the hundredths chart increase or decrease by tens, I would know that in order to find the number that is 10 less than 36, I wouldn't go next to it because that would be 1 less than the number 36. Good, so instead of going next to it, I'm going up. So we know that the number 10 less than 36 is 26. Now I'm going to pick a different number on my hundredths chart, and that number is going to be 64. Now, I will ask my students, what number is 2 more than the number 64? So what would I do? 2 more means that I have to go towards my right, and 2 more than the number 64 is the number 66. So I know by identifying patterns at the beginning of this lesson that when we go across, the numbers increase by 1, and when we go down, our numbers increase by tens. So therefore, in order to find the number that is 2 more than the number 64, I will go 2 boxes to my right. I will now pick another number for practice. So I will pick the number 85, and I will ask, what number is 10 more than the number 85? So if we were to go down, we would know that that means 10 more because our tens place is increasing, and therefore the number is 95. So now I want to write an example for you all using arrows in order to identify. So if I were to have the number 53 and an arrow going upwards equals 2, what would that mean? So let's identify the number 53. It's right over here. I have an arrow going upwards, so that must mean that it's asking me to go up, which means 10 less than. So what would my answer be? My answer would be 43, right? Because 53, we go up, it's 10 less, and it's 43. Now let's identify a different number. So I'm going to choose the number 68, and I'm going to write 68, arrow going down, arrow going across, and arrow going up. So here's our number 68, and it's telling me arrow going downwards, so now I'm 10 more, which is 78, arrow going next to, which means one more, which is 79, and one arrow going upwards, which means I'm at 69. So that equals to 69. So therefore, we can try and identify a pattern here. So what we can understand is that if we have an arrow going upwards, that means less than. If we have an arrow going downwards, we know that means more than, right? Well, this would mean 10 less than. This would mean 10 more than. If we have an arrow going to the right, that means one more than. And an arrow going to the left means one less than. Therefore, we can now solve problems using our hundredths chart.